So what was it like?
That's my mic check.
Very well done, by the way.
What was it like reuniting with Anthony on this second part?
Anthony is an amazing guy. He's really kind of like a maestro. He's got the ability to have the foresight to know what shots he needs every day to tie the movie together, and does everything he can to make his day, but then has a shot list of shots that he would like to get. And he never compromised on what he needed, but he was willing to compromise on what he wanted. But because he came to set knowing exactly what he needed every day, we would make our day every day, and there'd always be a little time left over to embellish a little bit, maybe to get another angle, maybe to add a few more lines, to add layers and depth to a particular scene. It's really amazing, man. To be able to shoot a $100 million script on a 100th of the budget takes that kind of creativity. And I really feel from here, the big movie studios are going to take notice of this guy because, wait a second, we don't have to spend $180 million. This guy's doing with $108 million. And don't quote me on that. I don't know what the final budget was for this movie, but for him to be able to do what he's done on such a small budget in 18 days is true genius. I mean, I've been on movie sets where the craft service truck had a higher budget than this entire movie. It's true. It's amazing. So, there you go.
Did you have a hard time with all of the running as well? Because said she didn't realize how much running was going to be involved.
No, I had stayed in shape. I worked with the Chippendales in between. Knowing I was going back to this movie, knowing that it's a very physically demanding role. Did everything I can to keep my weight down, stay in shape. Knowing I have to be wielding a 45-pound chainsaw. You really have to stay in shape. But health and fitness has always been part of my wheelhouse, so it was a good excuse.
Is it more fun to be part of a pop culture phenomenon now, or when you were young?
I don't really approach it. My perspective isn't that. I mean, very lucky to be a part of a project that touches people in a positive way. If you're referring to 90210, I mean, that was lightning in a bottle. For 10 years I worked on that show. I was very grateful. But for me, it was more about the work and not the glory. And it still continues to me that way. I'm very appreciative when people tell me that they've seen the movie or seen the show. But I'm more compelled by accomplishment rather than glory. So that's what really guides me.
It's fun, right?
Tons of fun. Tons of fun. I mean, here I am at Comic-Con. I've never been here before.
Oh, really? This is your first one?
First time, yeah.
Really?
And, I'm feeling like I'm the belle of the ball here. This is so flattering to be in the midst of this Sharknado story.
Yeah.
I could be home eating potato chips watching the evening news, but yeah, fun. Hell yeah.
And of all things, it's Sharknado. It's reason. That's it.
Right. And this is a movie that I had second thoughts on in the first place, but it was at my wife's behest that I accepted it because with a baby in her belly and one on her hips, you need to go to work. I needed to make my insurance in early January. I get my union is where I get my insurance. So I realized, gosh, I'm a provider too. Sometimes you lose sight of the fact that this is I do this to support myself too. I have so much fun when I get a chance to work and doing all these crazy characters and what have you. That now I'm a father, a husband, and a father. I'm also a provider. So it's like that's something. Failure's not an option. So you have to do whatever it takes. And that's when I realized I'm going to have to do this movie. So my wife never misses an opportunity to remind me that she's told me so. So thank you, Aaron.
So you did the first film. You were apprehensive about doing the first film. Then it blew up with social
Zero
media.
apprehension and getting involved with the second one.
So with the second one, how do you, with this, the new attention, how is it different from doing the first film now? With more people being interested in it, our expectations, like
There are no expectations. These expectations are only set by people who are expecting a different movie. It's going to be more of the same. They didn't change the formula, and they didn't change the budget by much. The only way to really change this movie would be to infuse like $50 million into it. But then you would lose the campy nature. Then you wouldn't see people running through the background who had their legs chewed off in a previous scene. You know, that's kind of the giggly kind of fun. Like, oh my God, there's no shading on that shark. Look at that. We didn't try to raise a bar with Sharknado. We created our own, and then with Sharknado 2, it's more of the same, but in a different environment and a different experience. So the scenarios are similar. It's if you like Sharknado, you're gonna love Sharknado 2.
What's more intimidating, finding a shark or getting on stage with the Chippendales in front of that audience? What's more intimidating?
Opening night at the Chippendales was a little more intimidating. I had to tear my shirt off. Yeah.
Nice. Now I've got a wedding to go to, and I need a go-to move, and I only have so much to work with. I need a show stealer, dude. So.
On the dance floor?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. The sprinkler. You know, I like the copy machine. There's a whole bunch.
There's no secret Chippendale thing.
Oh, Chippendale move?
Well, duh,
You
yeah.
willing to tear your shirt off?
If it's only once,
It's only one.
because I'm guessing once it happens, I won't be there much longer.
I would serve everyone at the wedding a good cocktail first before you do anything. So they won't remember.
Just one look at the weird beard, he's like, take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Is there a particular shark kill in the second one that you're proud of? Or?
Yeah, and it's a. In the first one, Anthony had me running through a parking lot, pitching and jiving and jumping and dodging, and there was nothing there. It was a bright sunny day, and I felt a little bit foolish. But then he said, you know, then I like took one knee and I held my chainsaw up, hoping that the editors would realize, all right, here's an opportunity to fly a shark through my blade, and they did it beautifully. So now that's really my kill style of choice, to brace myself with a chainsaw, not to swing at it, but to let the shark fly through it. So my favorite kill is standing on top of a fire truck, but this time instead of bracing at it coming forward at me, I turn around and do it backwards and get my face out of the way and fillet the shark. The way they did it is just, oh, they delivered so well.
well, one thing that I noticed about the first film is you really play on the idea of the fear of sharks. So I have to ask you, what animal do you fear the most?
Sharks, bears. I mean, any apex predator. Seriously, if I can't outrun it, I'm scared of it. If I can't outswim it, I'm scared of it. I think that's my will to survive that really helps me answer that question.
Yeah.
Anything can take me out.
Since you're at Comic-Con, your superhero alter ego, is it cape or no cape for you?
It's no cape. Yeah, there's no cape in my alter ego superhero.
I had a feeling.
Feeling
I had
it?
a feeling, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Capes just, they're too flashy. They're too flashy. You know, everything with my superhero probably happens with the mind.
See, there you
Yeah,
go.
but don't worry, I use my powers for good instead of evil.
Like I could stop you anyway.